All right, good evening. You are welcome to the week 3, day 1 of the Python class. I guess you all had a wonderful holiday, and sorry for Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. They were actually fixing the water in this building, so there was no way we could use the office without water. That's actually why we were not here. So while we're waiting for a complete class, just stay fixed. There's a lot to look at today so that you can really know who you are and what you are becoming. Oh, sorry. So share the screen. So share. So once more, good day all. And we're not wasting time today. We're moving very fast into the main thing. So I'll be sharing my screen immediately. And you'll be watching a video from Singapore. That's Think Cyber Operation in Singapore. So that you can know. Then from there, I will show you what Think Cyber Academy is saying. But we now have an academy, and so that you can value the boot camp you have here.
Hi, if you're new to cybersecurity as a career
So
and are
this
looking
is
to figure out
Ethan.
how to
Ethan will
get
be
in,
with us
this video is created
upper
especially for you.
Saturday.
I'm Ethan Xiao.
So this is the head of operations in Center for Cybersecurity in Singapore. He will be with us in our master class next week, Saturday. So he's the one running the Center for Cybersecurity in Singapore. I just want you to listen to him. The cost of this training you are taking, not even up to this module, in Singapore is $12,000. That's what they pay. So
I'm
listen
from
to
the
him.
Center for Cybersecurity, and I'm here to share with you the 7 steps to enter cybersecurity as a career. These 7 steps are all about how to get you your first foot into the door of cybersecurity career, such that you can land your first job, so that you can be part of the industry right away. Step 1 is understanding the market for cybersecurity. Now, while most people think that certifications might be the way to go, sadly, a lot of hiring managers have given us feedback that they don't really look at certification as the core thing they look for when they look for a person to hire. Now, it is really critical for you to understand this, because if you take the wrong steps in the next few steps, you're going to waste a lot of time and money without knowing how to enter the market properly. What hiring managers are looking for are people with portfolio and skills to showcase that they have the ability to enter the market and trust you to do the work at the end of the day. So every hiring manager does want to look for somebody who already has experience, already has been on the ground, or at least knows how to get the skills, or already has the skills to be able to perform at work. How do you achieve it? This is where the next 6 steps come in. Now, step 2 is all about learning cybersecurity. What this means is taking online courses or at least experimenting a bit about what people talk about in cybersecurity. At the end of this video, you'll be able to get a few links for you to be able to start your journey of learning what cybersecurity is all about. It is really essential for you to experience and understand some parts of cybersecurity before you decide on it as a career. Step 3 is all about virtual machines, experimenting with it. Now, I understand that you might not know much about cybersecurity or the IT field, as this might be your first exposure to it. Virtual machines are really essential parts of cybersecurity and IT jobs. Now, a lot of cloud service runs off virtual machines to be able to do what they do today, which is why it's essential for you to understand how virtual machines work and even understanding the system that cybersecurity people use, which is called Kali Linux, for you to be able to run on a virtual machine such that you can start doing some of the work that cybersecurity practitioners do. Step 4, join conferences and the communities. Now in Singapore, there's a wonderful group called Division Zero that you can get some experience just talking to some cybersecurity practitioners and getting to know what's it all about. They talk regularly on Discord, and there are a bunch of people who are really passionate about cybersecurity. If there's any way you can learn some information about what the market is like and who are hiring, it is absolutely in that space. More importantly, to join the conferences, get to know who's who in the market so that you can figure out your way around in the market. The other part is that you can finally understand what knowledge you need to know as a practitioner so that when you enter the cybersecurity career or you're taking the next few steps, you know what knowledge you kind of need to know before you can enter cybersecurity as a career. Step 5 is all about creating your portfolio, setting up your GitHub. Now, cybersecurity is a lot like how programming works. If you are a software engineer or a programmer, very often you need to have a GitHub to be able to showcase your skills and showcase what you've done before. Portfolio for cybersecurity functions quite similarly. If you have a GitHub, you can showcase your Python scripts, your shell scripts, to be able to showcase what you already know and what you have already done and the projects you have done, such that you can explain to any potential hiring managers what you can achieve. Now, it is really essential for you to know this because in cybersecurity, it's again all about trust and knowing that you know how to do the work. Step 6 is all about doing projects. Now that you have set up the GitHub, right, you need to know how to run projects. If you're tending towards defense side, you know how to set up a server with the proper defense softwares, set up the firewalls in place, and to be able to protect the server properly, whether this is an unpaid or paid work. This will give you a lot of content for you to share with the potential hiring manager as to what you can achieve and what you're interested in. Of course, if you're on the other side, what we term as a red team, you need to do some penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, or some bug bounty work, such that you can showcase how you can be able to look for different holes in the different softwares or the different servers to do the proper penetration testing. It is very important for you to showcase these in your portfolio, in your GitHub, such that people can trust you to be able to handle these projects if they were to hire you. Now that you've gone through all the steps, you need to be able to showcase your portfolio to your hiring manager. So when you send your CV over, you need to send together with your GitHub, your website, and all your different projects and your different reports that you've created, such that you can convince the hiring manager that you're the person to hire. Now, it is really important because hiring managers don't just hire people because they lack the manpower. They'd rather not hire people than to hire somebody they can't trust. This is why it is very important for you to showcase that you have the skills and the abilities to fulfill these roles. This is why step 7 is all about showcasing your skills. Now that you know the 7 steps, if you're interested.
So I think, I don't know if you can hear me, just type yes. And if you have seen the video, if you've seen one of them, just type yes on your WhatsApp handle. Yeah. So just type yes. If you saw the video, just type yes. So I'm actually showing you the video so that you can know the capability of the training you are taking. And now this is Think Cyber Academy. I don't know if you can see my screen. So we have Academy Bundle. We in Nigeria, we are not following Academy Bundle. It's more expensive and it doesn't give you a fair balance. So you have to move from level 1 to level 6. Now, you'll be hearing from Ethan, they are not doing all the, how would I put it? They are not doing all the 6, 8 modules we are doing. Normally, you stop at level 3 and they expect you to get a job. Windows Forensics, and for their own So we are using ETAN for the Asian market, while other HRs are actually taking the European and American market. So up onto this place, I think it's about 2,000 something dollars. Now this is level 4, this is level 5, then this is level 6. So they expect when you are working, you can come back. But here at the boot camp here, you take 8 modules. So anytime you come here, come with your head serious and take the training very seriously, because we don't know how long we might be able to keep this going without actually conforming to the standard of the headquarters. I'm just trying to let you know that we don't run. So there's an academy already and it has been broken. So this level 1, that is what you are taking now. Are you seeing it? So this level 1 course, that is what you are taking. That is why we don't want you to waste time. That is what I'm ensuring, that you take everything. So this level 2, that's the first thing you take. So when you now come into the main training, you can now start from there. So all the trainings you take actually makes you end somewhere here, level 5, in one boot camp. So I'll please you to take you've done that, you started taking project. The first project you are taking now is what? Port scanner. So you should be able to actually come here. This is my own GitHub. You create your own GitHub portal when you upload, because I think you understand how it says they actually pitch an employer or an hiring manager. You have to be able to actually come to where everybody is and display all these projects. In this Python alone, I think you're going to do about 5 to 6 different projects. You should be able to go there and upload the project. Like, let me show you one project that has been uploaded, if it's still here. Okay, this is one project. Are you seeing the way they upload project? This is one project uploaded. So at the right time, you should be able to upload your project this way. So when they come and see it, they see it in your name. You expose it, you open it up to the public. So are you seeing, this is the guy's name, Auto Crazy Release 1.01. So you can actually subscribe. It's a paid, you can subscribe for the free version. Why? Because people who want to hire you, like, you know, there's been a lot of how do I put it, back and forth on is that a ready job? Is that this? Is that? We are not employers. But after training you, if you walk into that interview and you don't get the job, almost like you don't even know what we taught you. Where I'm going to, the composition of our training in Nigeria is more concentrated than the composition of the training in Singapore. Yet they pay more and they get the job instantly. You understand? Nigeria is a very peculiar place. I don't want to call it a God accepted country. You understand? It takes a lot for you to sell products here. So as we pass through the project, if we are going to, this is how you actually upload your stuff to the project. So this week we're going to actually finish port scanner. So let me roll it. So you can actually bring out the last one we wrote so that we can modify it. We wrote one the other time. You can bring out the one we wrote so that we can modify it. I don't know. Is it class 3? Let me see. I'm not sure. Okay. It's not this one. Okay, let me see gedit. No, it's not this one. It's not this one. We have not gotten to this stage. Why did I? This is funny. No, not this. You wrote one that was supposed to be a simple script. No, this is a complex one. I guess we have to write it all over again. I have to write one all over again. Okay. Let me try. There's nothing in it. Not a problem. Not a problem. So what was the first stuff we imported? What was the first variable library we imported? Sorry. I'm writing I'm trying to rewrite the one we've written before. So the first one we wrote is just a simple IP address. Sorry, there's a double. We declare two variables, impute enter target. Enter target to scan. I'm writing it all over again. I don't think I saved it. So then port, we actually use port 80. Then we simply use, sorry. Try sock is equals to socket.socket. Sorry, what did we say this socket is for? What do we use this socket to do? This is the simplest and the cheapest form of port scanner you ever write, port 80. Sorry. As simple as that. So that's actually what we did the first time in the first script. So you can just save. I wonder why there's nothing in. So that is that. I believe we all can write the script up to that point. Right? We all can write the script up to that point. Sorry. Can somebody explain what exactly we did here so that it doesn't look as if there are only two current variables there? We only try to connect to the internet using what? We imported socket, then IPY from IP. We have not used that one yet. Now we try connecting using socket to socket. That's what connects to internet. Now we now use a particular variable saying if it connects, try socket to socket. And if it connects, fine. If it does not connect, print out what? The variable. Now, what I want you to do, don't actually delete this. You can just copy this like this. Don't delete it so that you can have reference to it. Copy this, save this. Now come and create another one, gedit class 2-1.py. So you can paste it here because this is the one you will edit. You will upgrade. Now all we can do here, this particular port scanner has limitation. It can only scan port 80. At the same time, it does not have a proper function that can actually scan all the ports. Now, so the first thing you do, you remove this one. So you come here, you define a function, scan port. The two variable, the parameters in it are what? IP address and your what? Port. So when you define a parameter like this, what happens? You ensure that everything under it falls under the function. You now shift this. You shift this. Sorry. So please, if you understand what I just did, now we want to actually, first thing we want to do is do what? We want to allow this particular script to be able to scan as much as port, not only port 80. That's the next step. It can only scan port 80 currently. We want to allow it to scan more ports. Now, what we need to do is, now what is printing out is actually what? Not supposed to be. We say, we now amend here. What we're using is concatenation. STL. So this is the way it's going to be. So that's the same thing here. Concatenation. Why are we actually doing this string? Is because if we don't declare it as a string, the port will come out as an integer. It will give us an error. So here you just put. So that handles that. Please, if you understand it up to this level, just let me know. So this actually now, when it's printed, say port so and so is open, no longer port 80. Port so now at the end, you now come and write a for loop. For port in range 1 to, let's say, 10 or 50, as the case may be. Please, how many ports do we have? How many ports do we have? So you come back, this function that we have scanned, that we have actually defined, scan port, IP address, port. So that is how the batch 2 of the file, we have modified it. So all you need to do is to remove this. Okay, good. Is to remove this from here. Remove this from here. Cut it. Then paste it here. So have you seen the way we modified this? If you have questions.
Sorry, Mr. Ikim. I don't understand. I saw Bona writing 65 53 ports. I don't know. How did you get that?
65,335 ports. So in IT, we have, in this particular networking, we have 65,335 ports. 535 ports, sorry. Are you getting it? So that's the total amount of ports we have in IT. Now, you can go back and do your Nmap scan. There's an Nmap scan I showed you to scan all your ports. You did an Nmap scan. So if you are scanning ports, that's the normal amount of ports you have, but not all the ports are open. Now, for HTTP service, port 80 carries HTTP. What it means is this. Not all the ports are services being rendered. Now, the question is, why are we attacking ports? It's because those ports, now when you go to any website and you do something like this, www.google.com, in as much as the service can open, that means port 80 is working already. So you know that port 80 is open. Hello, Mr. Godwin. So the total amount of ports we have ports. So you'll be scanning them. Now, why do you scan them? One, the main purpose of this project is to scan the ports that are open, understand which port is being used to host servers that are running software. If you can grab the banner of the software, you can now exploit the software, penetrate into the website. Are you getting it?
Yeah, I get it now, sir.
Okay, good. So basically, from the script you wrote the last time, we've been able to modify it. Now it can scan, you can make this one up to 100. Are you getting it? So it can scan up to 100. Now, when you put this one to scan, can you guys run this one first? Let's see. Modernize your script and run this particular one. it has a little problem that will fix immediately after you discover the problem. So you can actually modify your, or should I repeat myself? Now, what we had formerly was this and this. Now, let me come back, save. I don't have to do it again. Let me do clear, gedit. Now, this is what you have before. Are you saying this? Now, with this particular script, you can only scan what? Port 80. Now, the essence of scanning, when we started training you people, we told you with Python tools, you can actually automate your job. Now, if you now put that range from 1 to 65,000, it can scan all those 65,000 ports and actually show you the one that is up. Are you getting it? So the script helps you what? Automate your what? Your job. Now, with this, the only parameters you are defining is what? Sock.sock. You imported this library, socket library, and somebody asked for the IP. I sent him the link on GitHub. You understand? This IP link on GitHub. So with this particular these two variables, you can connect to the internet using your IP address and your port. That is what it means. That's why when it's the first thing it asks you, name the IP address of the target. You are connecting to what? Port 80. But this has limitations. You can only connect to port 80. Now, you want to actually do it and connect same IP address, but you are looking at, you want to check different ports that is open. You can now use this particular script that has been modified. You define a function with two variables, two parameters. I'm sure you remember how we did this. We spent so much time playing with this because we'll meet it now. The two parameters here is what? IP address and what? Port. Now, for port in range, so and so, scan. So it comes back and scan the range. It performs this function from 1 to 100. So you can write this and actually run the script. And let me tell me what you are encountering. I'll pause at this point. So you can run this script, write it, run the script, and let me know what you're encountering. Let's see the script, the error message is given to you.
So I can please screen.
Oh, sorry. Let me screenshot this and share with you guys. So that's port scanner. So that's the first project you are taking. So any day you're able to wake up and write a port scanner fresh from your head. So this is your first project, building a port scanner. No. And when they say enter target to scan, you enter an IP address, not a port address. Enter an IP address of a website. Use NS lookup for any website. Enter an IP address. That your target is an IP address, but from that IP address, it has the capability to scan multiple ports. Can you show us your this thing? Can you show us your backend, Mr. Ekene? Your Python environment. Were you experiencing any, okay, you scan from 79 to 85. Okay, you do not scan from, okay, that's actually why I said. Can you try to scan from 1 to 100? Let's see what, there's a particular, okay, good. So there's a little modification you need to do on the script. So 1 minute. The time it takes to scan is not defined. So you come here and say sock dot set timeout. Zero 0.5. We set it to 0.5 seconds. So we set it to 0.5 seconds. So you can move this one from 1 to 50 first. Let's see. Then from 50 to, let's see the ports that are open. So if you set it, you do not waste. Okay. Okay, all right, that's fine. Showing all the ports that is open and is closed. Sorry. Okay, all right, that's fine. You can add sock.set timeout to it so that it doesn't waste so much time scanning. Float. So I need more people to tell me they've actually. So we just have one more modification to do. Then you go and practice it over and over again. So this is supposed to be one project, 1 week. So you've gotten to the part where you start applying. So then the next time we come, we look at the other version. Then Friday, Saturday, we round it up. Okay, you soon get to the place where you don't really need to. It will not print out. It will not print out all the ones that are closed. It will only print out all the ones. I think it's not this modification. It's the upper modification. It will only print out the ones that are open. It will pass the ones that are closed. I'm sure by now you're actually now getting that it's a core technical class because you're supposed to be able to write. So when you open a script, you should be able to read what they are doing there. Now, I need everybody, other people, to actually come back to me with their stuff before we jump to the next. So I'll leave it open from now till 8:30 before we jump to the next improvement on the script. The same script, we're only just upgrading it at every time. So 1 minute, please. Let me just get coffee. So I need every other person to come up with their script so that I'm sure. Hello, are you guys here? So I need to see other people. Mrs. Grace, Mrs. Jesu, Mr. Jesu, Wale, Mr. Jesu, Wale. I was hoping this. You will practicing what you are doing. I'm catching cold. Let's see what you're doing so far, please. Every other person, it's only Bolan and Ekene that's posted. Every other person, we don't know if they are here. I need to be sure. Mr. Ilori, yes. You want to say something? Because we're not coming to rehearse this. We're not coming to revise it anymore. Once you've gotten a port scanner, we believe you can write a port scanner. You can deploy it, upload your codes to GitHub. Better. This is what I want to see. Can you show it to us? Can you show it to us? Okay. Mr. Godwin, can you show us your script?
I'm sending it now.
That's better. It's because the accept is not on the same line with try. They have to all be on the same line. You have to move it forward so that they be on a line of symmetry with what try. That's why you're having problem. So let the E and the T be on the same line. You heard what I just said, Abi?
Yes, I heard you.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. So I'm putting comments so that you can understand. Comfort. Can you open? So, Mrs. Jesu, I've not seen you. Mrs. Grace, are you here today? Yeah, I've not seen anything from you. I'm not seeing anything from you. That's why I'm asking. Mr. Ayeleru, I've not seen anything from you. We're not coming back to actually treat this. And actually, this is the foundation. There are more complex stuff you meet further. If you can't write this stuff, we have problem. So I'm trying to just ensure socket library. This is the beginning of the beginning. So this is where it all starts from. You write more complex stuff than this. So please, let's see your screen, please. I don't want to make ambiguous assumption. I want to be sure. I think the way we should do it is this. Everybody should actually submit. If you don't do it here, the first one you did, can you screenshot it and send it to me via email on JPG? The email, it should be so that we'll make it more official, because we don't want to actually, it should be admission. I think we'll create an email, admission at scitech.th.net. So all you just need to do is, whatever you have done, screenshot the first one, put it on what? A paper, a Word document, comment, type your comments on it. Then this second modification, put it on a Word document. Now, what you'll be showing me is what? You'll be showing me this back end. Sorry, you'll be showing me this back end. Now, you now show me where you run the script and it is actually what? Running. Those are the two things you do. So for this first phase, second phase, then do a brief explanation on what and what makes the script work, so that it's clear to us that you are not doing copy and paste. So it's clear to us that you are not doing copy and paste. So it's clear to us that you are now doing copy and paste. We are not doing copy and paste. Please, do you understand? What I mean is this. You screenshot this. You open a Word document. You save it. You can open your own. I'm sure you are seeing my screen. You can come here, open a folder called what? Projects. Simulator project. You can call it free simulator training project. Now, inside that pre-simulator training project, this first document, you call it what? Port scanner project. Port scanner project. So you save it. Now this first one, copy. You paste this here. Then you come, you save. Sorry for the. So that should be, if we ls, so I need to actually change mode. 777 class 2.1.py. So Python 3. Oh. Why is it not moving? So let me see. 1 minute. Let me control C. NS lookup. So the address, IP address is this. Copy, clear. Paste selection. So what I need you to do is this particular one, you snap and show me how the script is running. So you come here, paste, then you write on it, then you now actually send to me officially. Okay, I'm coming, Miss Grace. What is, let me see. Can you show us what is in line 12? Can you show us what is in line 12? So that you did not properly define something. Can you push all those your sock? Let it be after the column. You understand? Push the sock and sock all those line 9, line 10, line 11. Push it to after the column in try. Now push the print to just after the except to that particular place. What I mean is this. Are you seeing where this sock is? So that you start getting all these basic. If you're not, so are you seeing this line of symmetry? That is what you should do. That is where your problem is coming from. So that's why it's good you actually master. Okay, you are good now. Okay. So is any other person still having issues? So when you do something like this, please, then you write something, you write on it, then send to me. So we will create a please, from tomorrow morning by 12, you should start sending it. Send to this. They'll send it to this. So I'll let you know when it has been created. Sorry, excuse me, please. So I just instructed the guide, web guy to create one. So project dash iPhone assignment at scictph.net. So it should be port scanner project. So you send it under the name port scanner project. I think what I've not given you is your ID number. So I will make that available tomorrow morning so that as you are sending it, send your ID number with it. So on top of this, it's supposed to be what? Your name, name. Project type, project name. And I think you should put your GitHub. You might not need this now, but this is the way you report, so that as you're actually putting it here, if it's approved, you just upload it to the GitHub handle immediately. So because we want you to get used to the environment as much as possible, so that once you are used to the environment, you don't have problems. So that's it. So you should be free using here. Get used to using it, because that is what you are becoming. Okay, you'll be sending, I'll send a sample. You send one, your backhand of the script you've written, and show us another screenshot on where it's running. Now write a comment on every line, how the script works to the best of your understanding, what we did to ensure that the script is working. So send it to me. Send it to what? Projects or assignment. So the name of this mail is what? Port Scanner Project. You send before we have only written 2 now. We wrote the one with port 80. I believe you still have that one. Put that one. Why? Is because I want to be sure you understand what you're doing. Put that one, run it. Now, when you are writing this next script, you are modifying because you want to scan a lot of ports at once. That is why so and so command was defined. So and so function was added. So and so variable or parameter was defined. State it there. Snap the script, then snap what? When you run the command. Do you understand? Write your name, then your ID number, then the project name, then the GitHub. You can now put it in what? PDF. So somebody can look at what you've done and actually grade you with it. So if we're all good with that, let's look at the next modification we need to do. Let me pause a bit. Does anybody have any question? Okay. Sorry, excuse me. In the absence of no question, we move to the next version. Now, all you can do for now is that you want to you can only scan IP. We want to be able to scan it without using IP. So that once you write the name of any website, you can scan it. So if you come back to that script, oh, sorry. All you do is copy so that you can have a copy of it. Copy the whole script. Copy, save, close. Come back and write gedit class 2-2.py. So you paste it here. So you can have all flavors of the script. Now, what we want to do now, we want to be able to actually scan what website when instead of when you enter input targets to scan, instead of doing IP, you want to write website that directory. So we create a variable called converted IP is equals to check underscore IP, which the variable is what parameter is what IP address. So this will enable us check what. Now the for loop, we change this one to what? The scan for change this one to converted IP. We change the IP address here to what? Converted IP. So here you can put, sorry. Scan website address directly. So that is actually, now you now come back to this place. We have to define the converted IP. So we have actually called the function check IP. So we have to define what? Check So we are just calling this particular IP library. We've not used it in this particular function before. So you come here and write, we are defining another function, try accept. Return. Sorry. I don't think we have we used this return function before? Return IP. So what if there is value error, it will return get host by name, return socket. So those are the two changes we've made to this particular. So to actually enable us to actually scan this website, we have to actually add converted IP, because it has to now a check IP address. Now we now define the function check IP. Now it actually checks the IP. Now if there is a value error, it returns what? It gets the host by name. I think I can do that, demonstrate that. I have to get back to the terminal to demonstrate that. So two places we actually modified is this in this script. The same script you are using, we modified this place. One, copy. Then we modified this other part. we added another function. Now this function is to allow us do what? Be able to actually pull hosts by name, define the what. We used a new variable called check IP. So we have to define that function, calling what? The library called IP. So those are the two. So that looks more like an if statement, or so the converted IP equals the IP address. So once you print converted IP, it gives you, it comes back with the what? IP address. Now, what it means is this converted IP is equals to what? IP address. When you print the converted IP, it's what? It gives you the IP address of that website. That means what I'm saying is this parameter now helps you convert the website. It's now doing the job of what? NS lookup. So if there is any value error, the value error once is what? Get us by name. The name is what? IP. It comes back to this place. So I don't know if I'm actually explaining it clearly, or I should go to the terminal and actually do it. Let me save this first and do it from the terminal. So if we say from IPY import IP, that is the library we are using. Oh, sorry. Okay. Converted IP from what we wrote. This is, I'm actually using converted IP is equals to what? IP the IP address is not defined. Sorry. Let me exit. Yeah, I know. I mistakenly pressed the wrong command. Sorry. I'm sure you guys can see the screen. It's saying a particular command is not properly defined. So I need to be sure. I was trying to actually. Oh. Okay. I don't get the mistake now. Sorry. let's just cram this so that we'll have this somewhere. So that's 162.1. Copy selection. So clear. So let's go to terminal. So what I was trying to actually show you people how it actually brings back. So we said from IPY, then we define IP address. I didn't define it the other time. IP address is equals to, 162.0.209.87. 162. Converted IP is equals to IP then when you say sorry, so why are we having issues? Operation class call found STDM name address not in is not defined. What we use is IP. What we use is IP, not okay. Let me say Windows D. Let's see. Are you seeing this part? So what we use is IP. Okay. So I think we should put that on the post. I just actually want to run it from the terminal, but from this side, it should run very well. If I save, let me first run this script first. Clear. The only way to know it's when we run class 2-2. So we're already having a problem. Line 6. Okay. I think that's where the challenge is coming from. Check IP. Underscore IP. Okay. All right. I think that's where the challenge is. Clear. Okay, I think that's where the error is. So if you just type www, so it starts scanning. So this is what we wanted to achieve. So you don't need to actually put any IP address anymore. So let me Control C. Okay, so let's clear and go back to Python 3. So I think that if the script is having error, so one 162.0.209.37. And converted IP. So when you print, so it was that column issue that was giving it a problem, converted IP. It should return the IP address. So that is this what I wanted to prove to you guys. So that is actually now, this shows you that it picks back, it converts the what? The IP address. This IP has been defined. So it converts the website into the IP name. So that's the command. So that is what this function does. That's what I wanted to actually prove to you people. So if the script is not properly written, you'll not be able to actually prove it here. So this is the last modification. So this is where we stop for today. When we come the next class, we look at it, we look at other modifications we'll be doing to it. So let me screenshot this one and share with two people. So this one to go into another sheet. I will explain it one more time. What we are trying to do was to ensure that we can scan directly from website. So we have to redefine a function that will make this particular program convert the website name to an IP. That is the function this particular stuff is doing here. So that is, so what is foiling it is what this library. So I'll copy the script. So we take a pause here. So the last class will be, we look at the next class, then the other one, we look at how we import this particular script to another script, to the next script, because you'll be using it in the next script. So we started from a simple 80-port scanner. Now that you have to define IP address, we now looked at, you can increase this range to anything you like. Now the next one, we looked at how to increase the range and scan multiple ports. Now we'll now look at how you can actually scan directly by listing websites. So what we're looking at, how you can scan by listing multiple websites, multiple IP address, and you don't even want to allow it to print. How will I put it? Port is closed. It only shows you the only port that are open. That is what we'll be looking at in the next class we come to. So I'll pause here to take if you ask questions, if you have questions. If you have questions, let's take your questions. I think over the holiday, I actually caught some cold. The water here, they actually stopped water from coming in. So I had to run home that Saturday because there's no way we can walk here without water. What I mean is this. Yeah. Now, what is this now? Try IP, return IP. Now, if there is any value error, it should do what? Get what? The host by name and return what? IP. What that function is telling it to do is that try IP, that's the IP address. Return what? The IP address. Now, remember we defined a function what? Converted IP equals check IP underscore IP address. So we are properly redefining that function called check IP, which is what the parameter, the variable is what? IP address. All it's doing is what? Is trying to get the IP address from this library called IP. Now, if there is any value error, return, get the host by name and return the IP. I don't know if you understand that. So even if you cannot get the IP, go and get the host by name and extract the one. So this particular part here is performing the function of NX lookup. Since it's only IP that this particular program can read. So it's called socket.get host by name IP. So it returns it. So this is more like an if statement. Else, if there's any value error, get the host by name and return the IP. So please, I expect maybe the explanation is not clear enough. Let me explain. I expect you to be able to explain something like this. So what we did here is simply from the previous script, we want to actually enable it to scan websites. And in scanning website, you should be able to convert it to what? The website to what? IP. So we now define something called converted IP. Now it said check IP address. That means if it has converted from website to IP, it checks the IP address. Now we now define the function called IP address from the library called what? IP. Now try IP, which is what? IP address. Return the IP address. If there is a value error, go get the host by name and return what? IP. Every other parameter here stands the same. We've actually developed them in the previous script. So if there is no question, I expect you guys to actually do so. You are submitting 3: 1, the port 80; 2, the one that can scan multiple ports; 3, the one that can scan website. Do it and actually put your comments on it. So people have been quiet. Mr. Afegbeso, Adegbeso, I don't know. I've not been hearing your that thing. Please, most of you who send me WhatsApp message, I mistakenly put my other number on WhatsApp. I did not know. It was when I was chatting with my colleagues abroad. And I said, you are chatting with us with another number. And I noticed that, oh, I actually reactivated with another number because my phone was having problem. So most of you would have sent me a chat. I did not respond because I don't know what's wrong with how would I put it? With this thing. All of a sudden you just notice that the saying is having, maybe because I sent so much, how would I put it? Broadcast message on the phone. I noticed all of a sudden the WhatsApp message will just wipe off after a while. So I don't have the chat anymore. So people who have chatted me, try to reach out to me. You can send me messages. So if you have any question, you can actually chat me up directly. But I will let you know when this particular email is available so that you can send your assignments to this place. So once more, thank you all. As you can see, we are traveling and we are traveling very fast. You are looking like what you are supposed to be as you climb the technical. So you now notice as you are doing whatever, you are looking like. So when you are talking to people, you have everything they need to display your what skill. So that's it. I will pause here and actually expect question for the next 10 minutes. Sorry, you guys should just excuse me. Let me just blow my nose. I'm having this catarrh. Okay, sorry guys. So I'm back. If you have any other question, okay.
Sorry, Mr. Iken.
Okay.
Sorry, is the host? Is it the IP address?
When you say host, what did you mean?
So that's what I'm asking because I don't understand what the host will mean on this program.
Host. You mean host?
Yeah,
Host.
host. I said socket dot get host by name
Now,
and IP address.
host.
So
Host.
on this
Host
program,
means
what is
in
host on
that
this
program
program?
means the website. Now, at any point in time you are using host as an IP, it's your own IP address. Now, if they say remote, means it's always the target. Are you getting it? So the host referred to that socket. Socket is actually the connection in which you connect to what? The internet. Yeah, it's the gateway in which you connect to internet. That's why the first library you imported was socket. Now, you should be able to do a research on your own when you come here, socket library, so that you can have more. So this is socket library. You can read everything you need to know about it. So what it does, it's what using to stream what IP version 4, import socket from socket. You understand? So to have a broad view of what you're doing, you'll be able to come here, look at it, get used to the tradition. So you have everything you need to know on GitHub. So the socket you're asking for, this socket.py. So let me copy here. So I don't know if somebody, some other person have question to ask, because if you actually arm yourself with quality world-class information, it makes you very easy for you to compete world-class. That's just what I can say. So when you are sourcing for any information, source from where everybody goes. Standard is standard.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, Solomon.
Solomon, yeah, Mr. Solomon, yeah. Good evening.
Yes, sir. You were talking about the last two that you just told us now.
Socket.
Yeah, the socket. I want to get this. Does it converts? We don't need to get the tool is used to get the IP of the website directly without we getting the IP of the website. Is that what the tools does?
Okay.
And secondly, I want to know, because over the weekend I got these what is the difference between WordPress and website?
Okay, all right. Let me I'm sure you can see my screen. So that stuff I pasted, you guys can just bring it up on your laptop. Now you see socket creates a new socket object. Now get host by name. Map a host name to its IP address. Are you seeing? So it's from here you actually get all those socket.get default timeout. Socket. So this is where functions, they wrote all the functions. Are you seeing it? Import socket. Are you seeing try import error? Are you seeing all the stuff? So you see most of all those stuffs here, because these are the people who wrote the program. So like you are writing program, these people wrote the program, that library you are using. Now, instead of you writing it again, all you are doing is you are just importing it, which you will write this particular script you are writing. when you're writing another script, you will now import it into that script. So the functions of what the questions you're asking me is actually there. Now, WordPress is a kind of website. Are you getting it? So you use WordPress is just a type of website. So socket, create a new object, send FSD. So get host name, return the current host name. Get host by name, map host name to its IP number. That is what I've actually explained. Now, the host name in this case is what? The website. So that particular function, it maps the host name to its what? To the IP number. So if there is any error, so try IP, return IP. Except value error. If there is any error, map the host name to its IP. That is what that particular means. So the socket there, what's the function of the socket? So until you have libraries like this, create a new, it's a connection. So I don't know, do you guys now, I don't know, does it now make more sense? Or let's go up again so that I can. So have I answered your question?
Yes, but how will I identify? How can we identify these WordPress websites? Are they different from ordinary other websites? How do we identify them? Is there any tools that we can use to identify the WordPress websites? And
this class is actually not a it is not a website class. So I wonder why you are asking that question. It's actually not a website class, it's a Python training, it's a Python programming class. Okay. But let me just, these things are very easy. Learn to use your Google. So when you come here, how to identify the WordPress website. So does that answer your question, sir? So everything you need to ask me regarding that is on the internet. Is there any reason why you are actually asking this question?
Yes, the reason why is I noticed one of the tools that you train us on.
It was actually to scan for WordPress.
Okay.
Yeah, it was to scan for WordPress website.
Yes, yeah, and you mentioned it in our previous class. So, and then that's why I went to go and check all over for the tools. So the tools is just talking about it scanned for WordPress. That's why, and you've not expatiated on it. That's why I'm just asking.
Okay, this is actually.
I mean this WP scan.
Okay, this is actually how you actually. Key a WordPress website. I think we'll look at this more in the Linux class. It's not a Python tool. We can look at that more in a Linux class. This is not within the context of a Python training. But let me just show you something so that you get used to it. This is www.google.com. When you right click, view search page. Did you see what I just did? So this is what you are becoming. So it's from here. Tomorrow you now know how what, like I said, it's not it is not a Python. It is not this is a Python class. So if you want to view, you come here to view the source page. So you are back to Google.
Please, boss, again, please do this thing again.
When you right click, you see view source page. Everything you see is code on the internet. When you click view source page source, everything you see is actually. So the difference is that some people have actually written down this code. Most of those websites, they just import the modules and actually drag and drop. But people have taken time to write out all the codes. So it's by looking at it. As you can see, there are codes. This HTML. You understand? There are codes. Now, if you are doing details of web app security, you should know all this. The ending of the script is what? 167. So start getting used to it. Nothing is magic. They are all codes. Is there any other question? So if you come back to this place now, I hope this now makes sense. Now check the site source code or most reliable ways to show. Check the WordPress source code. If the source code, check to see if important files are loaded from WP content folder. That is why you see WP scan, WordPress content folder. Files loading into the one. So those visit license.txt file. So those are the things I can just briefly look at it tomorrow. You understand? Because of that WP scan, but it's actually a course strictly on what? Web app application, web app security, which you will take. You decide to either take that one or take offensive Python.
Okay, thank you so much. Another question is this: you are laying so much emphasis on port 80. Is there any other port that can act the function of port 80 aside from port 80? Or there's a special emphasis on port 80?
Sorry, 1 minute. Sorry, am I answering your question? You know why I'm actually focusing on internet? Because it's not during the scenario training, you will not know everything. You will need to rely on Google to answer most of your questions. Are you seeing the answer to your question?
Yes, sir.
Good. You did another scan called TLS, or something. Okay, like I said, all these things you're actually asking, they fall under. We'll look at them. So I think this answers your question. So they are in the same category. You don't need to look too far so that you see where they are. When you come here, CMD, command prompt, net start. So when that's net start first at AANO. So are you seeing port 443, port 80, port 443, port 80? Now, all these things you are seeing open, established, these are open ports. Are all the websites I have opened on my system. So you are seeing the website IP address and the port that is open, and the process ID. So I think at this point we will close. You don't need to look too far. Everything is on your system there. So we will meet again tomorrow, 7:30. Tomorrow will be Linux. So I expect you guys to come submit 3 assignments. I will share once the IP, the email address have been created. I will share them with you. Any other question? In the absence of no question, we'll call it a day. So thanks, guys, for coming around. I'm sure you're actually learning much.